Hello guys, welcome back to V3 Design and our class on web development. Today we're going to discuss the topic working with CSS grid areas. Yes, we've actually discussed or rather gone into grid areas in the previous class, but today we're going to go in depth and build more on how to make use of grid areas on our CSS code. Now, whether you are just starting out or are trying to look for a way to deepen your understanding on grid areas, this session will provide a comprehensive overview of how to use grid areas effectively. Now, of course, for a recap, once again, in CSS grid is a two-dimensional layout system that allows you to create complex designs easily. Unlike the other methods, you can make use of CSS grids to control both rows and columns. Alright. Now, we have different kinds of CSS grid area properties. But to make use of it, the first thing we have to do, we have the grid row stats. We have the grid row stats, which specifies the row where the item begins. Now, let's just particularize that. Let's go to our code and particularize what we are talking about. Now, this grid area property that we can see right here, this grid area, right? This grid area property you can see right here combines four different properties into one shorthand, right? It combines four properties into one shorthand, which is this grid you are seeing here. Whereby we have the first one is grid row stats, then we have grid column stats, we have grid row end, right, and grid column end, as you can see right here. Now, grid row stats specifies the row where the item begins, right? It specifies the place where the item begins. Now, if I'm to change this guy here, that you can see this grid area, right? I should make it I should say grid row stats, right? Now, if I should change this guy that you can see right here, I should change it to now if I should change this guy that you can see this grid area, I want to give it the value of grid row stats, grid column stats, grid row end, and grid column end. And how do we go about that? So instead of us having this to be top, bottom left, bottom right, we'll change it to something else. And what is that? We'll change it to like 1, 2, and 3. So let's say we have this as 1, right? Then we have box 2 to have a grid area of 2. And then we have box 3 to have a grid area of box of 3. Good. Then coming down to our flex box, right? Instead of us to have coming back to our grid where we have grid area. Now, where is our grid area? Our grid area is here, right? Now, instead of us to have our grid area to be saying top, bottom left, bottom right, instead it will be having this, what we call let's change this to what? Let's change this. It's now become 1, right, slash 2 slash 3 slash 3. Guys, what does this mean? Now, this one is your grid row stats. This 2 is your grid column stats. This 3 is your grid row end, and this other 3 is your grid column end. Means that whenever you see something like this, whereby they have digits that follows slash, it means that the first thing is this first digit that you are seeing here, guys, that you are seeing here, is the grid row stats. Let's just say row stats, right? And the next one is column stats, which is 2. This one you are seeing here. And the third one is grid row end, and the next one is column end. Hope we're not getting confused, guys. So this is row stats, column stats, row end, column end. Alright. Now we assign that box 1 should have a grid area of 1, box 2 should have a grid area of 2, and box 3 should have a grid area of 3. Therefore, we say that for the grid row stats, that means to specify where the item begins, where box 1 begins. The item on our web page, which is this, let me show it. The item on our web page, right, should start the row, right, with box 1. Do we understand? Then the column should be box 2, right? Then for the ending part, the row as row column end should be box 3, and then sorry, I said the row, the grid row end should be box 3, and then the grid column end should also be box 2. So hope you understand this. Hope I'm not getting you guys confused, guys. So this grid roster, which is 1, specifies the row where the item begins. Then the grid column start specifies the column where the item begins. Grid row end specifies where the item ends, and grid column end specifies where the column ends, right? So please guys, hope we got this. Let me just write this let me just write a comment for you guys to understand. Let's just write a comment. Whereby I would say um row start, right, slash column start. I just do it like this. Row start, column start, right, row end, and column end. Okay guys, so hope we, based on what I just did now, let me just carry this one. Let's just take this. Okay, so guys, please, I want you guys to take note of this. All right, now this digit is row start, number 2 digit is column start, 3 is row end, 3 is column end. Hope we get what I'm trying to explain, guys. I wrote this comment so you guys can visualize what I'm trying to explain. Now this means that the item starts at row 1 and column 2. You get? So this thing here is row start, column start. So it starts with row 1, right, and column 2. Then it ends with both row 3 and column 3. So this is what we call a shorthand. A shorthand makes it easy to control the position of elements without having to set each property individually. So you making use of this slash, you can see here. You making use of this slash I are seeing here actually helps to just write this code in just one short straight line. So I just made use of these digits for example, right, for you guys to understand what I'm trying to explain. But as we go further, you get the full idea or the full picture of how to maximize making use of this shorthand. So guys, to have a detailed breakdown of grid area values, now let's start with row start. Now this row start indicates that the elements will start at the first row of the grid. Now let's just display this. This is looking so scattered anyways because of our properties that we've already assigned to them, but we are going to go into them and particularize everything we have been using. So guys, now by using all those values effectively, you can create very nice layouts that are responsive and adaptable, right? Now let's go on to named grid areas. Let's go on to named grid areas. That means instead of us just writing 1, 2, 3 and thereabout, we can actually name them. and make use of them. That way we will not get confused, because I believe most of you are getting confused because you are saying 1, 2, 3 and thereabout. Now, to use name grid areas, we utilize what we call the grid template area property, which is this that you can see here, this guy here already. Now, here is how it works. So already we have this container, right? Whether we have our display to be grid, we have grid template areas. Now, instead of us to be having 1, 2, 3, blah 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 blah, right? What we can do instead is to just like what we did earlier on. Is just for us to just do this. We'll say header. Oh, good. Let's just come back here. Let's come back to this guy, right? And just give that. We'll say let box 1 be the header, right? Remember that remember that before here was 1 and then we have to put 1 there, but now we are going to say header. So if we're making use of a written word like header, we have to put it inside of an asterisk, which is an asterisk, not just writing it ordinarily. Okay? So let's say box 1 is header, right? Then box 2 is main. That's the main body. And box 3 is what? The footer. Alright, and box 3 is the footer. Then coming here, we then say that, remember guys, let's say we have header, right? We have header, header, header. Then we want the next thing to be what? To be, okay, good. Oh, I forgot something. Let's create one more box, guys. Let's create one more box. Let's create another box. Let's call this one box 4. Let's call this box 4 with an ID of 4. ID name of 4, guys. Okay. Now we've created box 4. Alright. So now we've created box 4, of which box 4 will then give box 4. Where's my hash? Okay, good. Let's say 4. So we have the same grid area to be named something else. So we have the header, right? We'll have sidebar instead of main. We'll have a sidebar instead. A sidebar. Then we have the main. And the last on the list is the footer. So these are just basic arrangements on most web pages, right? These are just basic arrangements of which most websites they have the header, which is the one at the top, and they have the sidebar, which is the one at the side, which you can either press that looks like bad to expand and contract. Then we have the main, which is the full body, and then we have the footer, which is the last thing at the bottom of every page. Okay, so this is 4 different elements or 4 different child elements inside a div, or rather inside a parent element. Good. Now going back, we have header. Then we are going to then have sidebar. Then after sidebar we want main. Then after main we want footer. That means footer should just occupy every single thing at the bottom. So guys, for you to make more things, let's just make an abbreviation of all these things you're seeing here. Instead of saying header info, let's just call header HD. Do you understand? So instead of saying header info, let's just say HD. Then for sidebar, let's say SD for sidebar. SD, right? Then for main, you can just leave main because main is very short. You can leave main as main. Then for footer, we will say FT. So now we've abbreviated everything, right? We've abbreviated header to HD, then sidebar is SD, main is main, and footer is FT. That way it will be easier for us to write. Then coming back here, instead of saying header, let's continue back to HD, right? HD. Then we'll make the sidebar empty, right? Then the main will remain main, but the footer will be empty. So guys, there's also something I want you guys to take note of. Now this HD, there's no limit to how many you want to be. I can make it 10, I can make it 20, I can make it 50, I can make it 8. It's not a more that it must be 3, okay? I can say come here HD, HD. So let's make it 10 for example. This is 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's do HD. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now mind you, the amount of value you have here should be the same amount of value you have here, right? Should be the same amount of value you have here, and should be the same amount of value you have here. Okay, guys, hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Because if you have a web page, right, we have the header, which is this place, this first column that I are seeing here. This first one here. That's the first the header is always at the top, followed by the next thing you see is the what? The sidebar, then the main, which contains a column. That means the first column contains the header, second column contains both the sidebar and the main, and the third column contains the footer. That is just the normal structure of almost all web pages. All right. So we have 10 items or 10 values of header. We also need to have 10. That's for the first column. Let's say this you are seeing here is column 1. It must have 10 values. Column 2 should also have 10 values, and column 3 should also have 10 values. Hope you understand. So we have to make this 10. So we already have 3 here. So let's say we make the rest. Okay, so we have SD, and we have main, 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 main. So that's how many now? That's 1. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's continue. Let's say main, main. Then it should be 10. Let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So FT should also be the same thing. Should have 10 values. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Good. So guys, hope you took note of that. So each column should have the same amount. So if I'm to make this page now a total of 5, let's say I change this now from 10 to 5. Let's make it 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make it 5. I should also make that this other one here should also be 5. That means I should make it 5. Should go back to 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you understand, guys? FT2 should be 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is 6. You get, guys? So no matter how many you want to make it, whether you're making it of just 3 or just 2 or just 1 or whatsoever, it should have the same amount. So if the first column is 5, second column must be 5, and third column must be 5. So it's not as if you now have 5 here, and you'll be having 2 here, and then you'll be having maybe 3 here. No, guys, it won't work. It will bring out something else. So I think I want to make it of 10, because I feel like 10 gives me a lot of leverage. So I think I want to make it of 10. So this is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's 10. Let's make this one 10 as well. So we have 2. This is 5 here. Let's make it 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then for FT, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Good. So now this is well arranged, okay, guys. And please note that the reason why I made this LD to be just 2 instead of when the main is 8 is because I want the LD to contain a smaller portion of this column. Don't worry, guys, you definitely see that in action. So now in our grid properties, there are some things we need to change here. Okay. First thing we change is that we are going to remove this width because we are trying to create a structure of a web page. We remove this width first, right? Also, now for this grid gap as well, I think we don't actually need this for this tutorial we are trying to do. Let's take that off, right? Margin as well. Don't need the margin as well. Okay. We are going to leave grid template columns. This justified content, we don't need it because we're trying to create the structure of a web page. So let's just take that off. We're going to leave the border, no problem. We'll leave the border, but we're going to give it a color, right? We're going to give the border. Okay, but no need yet. Let's just continue. So we have the grid template column, we have the grid template rows, and we have the grid template areas. We have our grid, we have display, we have our border, we have our grid template columns, rows, and areas. So this is basically the major thing you need if you're trying to create a sample web page, right? Then going to the flex item, we are going to take off this flex direction because I'm not trying to build a box. We are going to take that off. We're also going to take align items for the now. Okay. Then we'll take off this guy as well. This display to be grid. Let's take that off. Right? Let's take that off. And then, guys, I think let me just go to my HTML and change this from box. Let's not continue making the box. Let's say box 1 now would not be our header. Okay. Then box 2 will be our sidebar. Right? Box 3 will be our main. And box 4 will be our footer. Good. So that way we will not get confused as we go forward. All right. So now we have let's just view it. We have our header, sidebar, main, footer. Guys, as you can see, it's already forming. Right? As you can see, it's already forming. So let me just take off this red border that we can see here. So everything can align together. So let's just take that off. Let's just leave it. There's no harm in leaving it. So we have let's just remove this justified content. We don't need it for now. What I'm trying to create. So we just need border and then a background color so you guys can know what I'm talking can see what I'm doing. Let's say background color of let's say this color, aqua. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, guys, we've given the background color of aqua, but I'm not comfortable with this aqua. I don't just know why. Let me change to something else. Okay, let's work with this. Okay, this is a little bit better. No, I want you guys to see the contrast in color. So, okay, this will work. Good, this will work. Okay, I think I prefer this over the previous one because it was too bright. Okay, going forward, guys. So remember, guys, for our first box, we've given the grid area of HD. Then for box 2, we're giving the grid area of SD. Then for box 3, main, and box 4, FT. Alright. So now this is basically how a web page is structured, like a basic web page is structured. There we have the header, Then we have the sidebar, we have the main and the footer. And let's make it occupy the full web page because it's really occupying the upper part of it. Let's make it occupy the full web page. And how do we do that? We actually come to our grid template columns and rows to adjust that. So the first thing we adjust now is the grid template, columns, right? Now we want to adjust the first thing. The first thing we want to adjust is that let's make this 30 pixels, okay? Now what happens? What happened? Let's make that 30 pixels and then let's leave it at 300. Then for the rows, let's give it a row of 250, okay, 250 pixels, 600. Let's make this 600, and then let's make this 30. Okay, guys. Now let's see what actually happened. Now look at it. Now our website or our web page is now occupying the full. Is now occupying the full page. Now this first 30 that we changed, right? This first for columns, the first one we changed. Let's change it to something else to so to see the difference. 100. Now what happened, guys? Now looking at this, guys, what do you think happened by making use of these grid template columns? These two values that are in here. Now, for explanation purposes, this grid template columns, right, defines the number and size of columns in your grid. Now, looking at this example we have here, right, this 100 pixels and 300 pixels we have here. This means that the browser will automatically create two columns. That is why you have this one and this one, this and this. It creates two columns, right? Each measuring 100 pixels wide, right? And 300 pixels high. Hope we are following, guys. Hope we are following. For the column, the browser will create two columns. Of course, of which we know that column is always horizontal, right? To create two columns, each measuring 100 pixels and 300 pixels, which is 100 pixels wide and 300 pixels high. Then for the grid template rows, which is this, as you can see, which is also vertical, guys, it means that it will then create two rows, or rather 3 rows, of which let me just explain to you guys this way. Okay, now guys, look at it. Okay, let me reduce this height is too high, so it can be showing here. It's too high. So let's reduce the height of the sidebar to something like this is 1 2 3. So this is 600. Let's make this 200. Good, that is better. Okay, good. Now you guys can see what let's make it 300 instead. Let's make this 300. That's too much. 250 instead. I just want you guys to see an easy. Good. Okay. Okay, perfect. Now let me explain what this actually means. Now, grid template columns that you can see here is what made this sidebar and this main to be like this. Like, it affects the vertical. So it indirectly or automatically separates this web page into two places, which is left here and right here. That is why you're not having sidebar. Now this 100 pixels affects this sidebar and this 300 pixels affects this main. Hope we are understanding, guys. So this 100 pixels affects the left hand side of this column, and this 300 pixels affects the right of this column. All right. So if we were to add something else here, let's say we say 100, or rather let's say we say 50 px. Do you see what happened, guys? It changed. It changed. I wish we had something else. Let's say we had an extra box, or maybe like sidebar or whatsoever. It should not become sidebar, main, and something else. Let's just particularize that actually, instead of just trying to say it. Let's just create another div, right? And let's call this div let's change it to 5, and let's call this div extra. We're giving it an ID name of extra, and then let's come back to our CSS and call it. So let's say extra. Let's say this extra now. Let's call this extra extra. Good. Now, do you see what happened here, guys? Do you see what happened? And then instead of us, let's put the extra. Let's put this extra here. Where we have side main. Let's change this place here to be extra. Good. So guys, do you see what I'm trying to explain here? Do you see what I'm trying to explain? This is what I'm trying to explain. Okay, why is this one here? Let's see. Okay, because it's 50. Okay, let's say it's also 100. No. Anyways, guys, what I was trying to say earlier on is that because we did three of this, which is 100 pixels, 100 pixels, and 200 pixels, we now have three columns that are vertical. Do you see that? So if I'm to take this off, right? I'm to take this one off. Whether we're not left with just two values, and I'm to take this guy off as well. I'm to come back here and take this guy off here, right? We'll then be left with just two main bar. Okay, let me take this guy off and put back main. Okay, guys, do you see? So in essence, if I have to add extra pixels to this one, it's gonna create an extra column for us. All right. So that's why you have to make sure that when you make use of this particular value, you have to be careful. All right. Then going to grid template rules, which is this, guys. Going to grid template rules, this helps to create two rows, of which the first row will be 250 pixels tall. Then the second row will be 220 pixels tall as well. So in essence, the row controls the height and the column controls the width. That's like how wide it is. Okay. So this one now controls the height. So let me change this now to something else. Let's say I make this 100. Do you see what happened, guys? The height has reduced. I make it 200. The height, 200. The height would increase. I make it 500. The height would increase. So the template rows affect the height, and the template column affects the width of your items. All right. So let's bring this back to the way it was, which is 100. 100 is okay. Let's make it 200. Okay, that's a lot better. So guys, this is basically how to create a basic website template. If you want to create yours, here we have the header, we have the sidebar, the main, and the footer. Let's actually reduce the header is too wide. Let's reduce it a little bit. Okay, let's reduce the header a little bit and make that that's too small. Okay, let's make it 100. Okay, let's say 80. Good. I think I prefer that. Then for the sidebar and the main, let's increase a little bit to let's say 300. Let's make it 400 instead. Nice. And then for the footer, let's make it a little bit wider. It's too small. Let's say 50 pixels. Perfect. So guys, this is actually really wonderful. Literally, we've created the basic templates for most web pages. Whether we have the header, we have the sidebar, the main, the footer. Now this sidebar is too big or it's too wide. So let us reduce it a little bit. Let's reduce it. So let's make this how do you need to go about that? Okay. Let's reduce this sidebar to 1. Okay, that will work. Let's take it back. But when we view it actually, okay, it's okay. When we view it, it is better like this, right? Then it gets wider. So I guess okay. I have to put back the name. Now that is working. Okay. So guys, this is basically how you can make use of CSS Grid in creating your own responsive and beautiful website design, all right, in terms of laying out your content on your web page. So guys, I do hope you understood everything we've taught so far. In case you have any more questions or any questions at all, you can leave them in the comment section and I would answer them as soon as possible. Remember that practice is key in mastering CSS Grid, because even I myself, I'm still learning about it every single day. So guys, make sure you practice and practice, because practice makes perfect. Thank you for joining us in this section. Hopefully it was both informative and inspiring. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tutorials on CSS Grid and web development. Have a great day and happy coding!